From the perfect dress and romantic photography to honeymoon vacation packages. This wedding expo in Beijing offers every service engaged couples might need for their big day. Marriages in China have been falling for the past decade, plunging in 2024 by 20% to a record low. But there's been an uptick in the number of couples getting married. Among them are Zhang and his partner, Li.
People around me are 26 or 27 and starting to think about marriage. Some are getting married, but percentage is quite small.
To make that percentage bigger, the Chinese government relaxed the rules for marriage in June. Previously, couples had to submit their residential license, known as a Hukou, and return to their hometowns. Now couples can be married in any location without needing their family's approval. It seems to be working. In the first 3 quarters of this year, 5.2 million new marriages were recorded, an increase of 405,000 from the year before. Analysts say the results are positive, but may not be sustainable.
These measures are certainly effective. They make marriage procedures convenient and faster. However, we must be cautious. It may only be a short-term effect.
The cost of raising a family and work pressures mean marriage feels out of reach for many. China is experiencing slowing economic growth and the tightest job market in decades. Beijing's efforts to increase the number of couples getting married is tied to its need to boost the country's birth rate. Not enough children are being born to replace China's aging workforce. Since ditching its one-child policy in 2016, Beijing has rolled out a raft of initiatives to encourage families to have more kids, including subsidized childcare for those under the age of 3. But the birth rate continues to fall. Experts say better opportunities for women haven't changed traditional views around child-rearing.
East Asian societies especially have traditional expectations for motherhood. For educated young women, their enthusiasm for marriage and having children has declined. They are more focused on career success and a balanced personal life.
Zhang and Li welcome any policy that makes family life easier, but say the new rules for getting married made little difference.
I think it's all about feelings. It's not something accelerated by simplifying the process.
As for having children, it was the same as with most of the other couples we spoke to here. One child is enough. Katrina, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Xiujian Peng is a senior research fellow at Victoria University, where she specialises in China's economy and the impacts of an ageing population. She joins us from Melbourne. A very warm welcome to the programme. So, for many years, China was defined, wasn't it, by its one-child policy. That narrative appears to have completely flipped on its head, Dr. Peng. I mean, Beijing is now scrambling to fix a shrinking population and a historic baby bust. And one way to do that is to fix plummeting marriage rates that have fallen to their lowest since 1980. I mean, set the scene for us. Why is this happening?
I think a lot of factors behind that. Many people, I think the younger generation, they're facing high pressure from work. I just noticed recently, I just came back from Beijing. I think the working hours for the young generation become longer and longer. And also labor market, become very tight. So they face high working hours and try to balance between life and between work and their family life. So that's why I think a lot of young generation reluctant to get married. Plus, a lot of people after get married, think about have children, and then the children's education cost is very high for them. So and high expectation from parents about their children's education put high pressure for the young generation. If they have a child, they have to put a lot of effort, not only money and time, to look after the children. But under this high pressure for working, they do not think they have enough time to doing that. This is one of the reasons.
Right. So people are time poor. The cost of living is high. Life is just challenging at the moment for very young people. We are seeing, in response, marriage registration booths popping up in shopping malls and subways, even nightclubs. I mean, it may be easier now to say I do, but does it work?
Yeah, I think this is, just we recently, like you mentioned, we have see a little bit higher marriage numbers in just the recent months, but we do not want to be very, very optimistic at this moment, because we don't know how long this will last, because a lot of fundamental problems still not being addressed yet. So that's why we must be very cautious to judge, okay, maybe this encouraging marriage already solves the problem. We do not think so. Yeah, because a lot of, and also especially women, they just need to focus on their attitude for the family and the children already changed. They like to spend a lot of time on their own career and on their own, on their own interest, but do not want to, just focus on children and old family. And also, I think a lot of, in countries in China, and also the traditional role for the woman still not changed quite a lot. And the most of in the family, most of women, wife spend a lot of time to look after children. They have to sacrifice their career, so this is not fair for them. That's why I think a lot of young women, they just prefer to choose a career, not a family. That's, I think, also is one reason for the the not a very good number for the marriage. At this moment.
Okay, so given the cost of living, many women are prioritising their career over marriage and having children. I mean, that's a trend that we're seeing around the world, isn't it? I wonder, though, what the consequences of failure for a policy or policies like this in China mean for the country going forward. I mean, surely childbirth and the demography of the nation is an issue of national security, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you are very right, because the government is not worried about this sustained low fertility. I think compared with, like you mentioned, so declining fertility is a global trend. It is correct. But compared with other countries, China has this unique, if we think about the fertility rate, China has a unique phenomenon, because China's fertility rate declines so fast in a short period of time. The decline pace in much faster even in Japan, and South Korea, and also in Singapore. So this is all the countries we think they have a low fertility rate. But you can see now China's fertility rate even lower than Japan. So China's fertility rate last year achieved less than 1%, less than one children per woman. So this is very, very low. It's one of the lowest in the world. But meanwhile, China also have facing, the per capita income not as high as South Korea, not as high as Japan yet. So that's why the government will have the high pressure, because China reaches this period do not become rich, already become old. Because if we have a sustained low fertility rate, then China means we have the aging structure. China's aging population, China's population become age really fast. It's even faster than in Japan. So means the government have put a lot of effort, also resources to support the older people. Meanwhile, they also wanted to support the economic growth. But if we have the lower fertility rate, that means declining labor force. So then, so means labor costs become very high, and also maybe facing labor shortage.
Right.
So without labor, how you can produce the products? So this is very important,
Okay, there's a lot riding on the Chinese government getting this right, isn't there? Xiujian Peng, pleasure having you on Al Jazeera. Xiujian Peng of Victoria University there.
Thank you.
Don't miss out and get full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.